All right. So this Shabbat is Rosh Chodesh Elul. Rosh Chodesh Elul. Everybody talks about. You're not going to see on Torah anytime. Everything Elul, Tshuva, da 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 da. Always. Tshuva this, Tshuva that. Seminars about Teshuva, seminar Anile Dodi, Vedodi Li. Everybody, you're gonna hear about 50,000 times between now and Rosh Hashanah. Anile Dodi, Vedodi Li, Dodi Yarad Legano, Yarad Le. Listen, everybody makes averot. And what's the source of the avera? Why would a person do an avera? He has what we call Yetzer Hara. And as I explained to you many times, unlike some primitive approaches, Yetzer Hara is not some kind of a demon that comes and penetrates into you. Let's not be primitive. Yetzer Hara is you. Yetzer Hara is a cognitive process that happens in you, or behavioral patterns that go along with it, that causes you to get off the track. Everybody wants to do the right thing. Everybody wants to do the good thing. But somewhere along the line we get sidetracked. What is it that makes us go sidetracked? What is it? Is it our environment? Yes and no. We always like to blame other factors for our wrongdoings. Yes, you're with the Chevre of Rashayim. Yes, so you're going to become more vulnerable to such things. You're going to expose to more to this kind of a behavior that is not appropriate. But ultimately, you have a choice. We all have a choice, right? But you think that at the time of the Tanaim there were no bad people? Let me tell you, there were worse people than there are now. There were Jews killing Jews in the street. At least now Arabs kill Jews. By the time Jews will kill Jews. Corruption. And yet, we had Tanaim, Rabbi Akiva, Rabbi Shimon, Rabbi Meir. There were the practices of the Jews at the time. Yes, it's horrific to have the gay parade in Tel Aviv and Yerushalayim. It's horrific. But you think this was nothing compared to what used to go on over there at the time by those Jews who became assimilated into the culture. But we have a choice. I have a choice. Everybody has a choice. You could be a hood rat and be a saint. And you could live in Smelly Hills or Beverly Hills or I don't know what, and be, a white or waspy community and be a monster. It has nothing to do. It has to do with the choices you make. Ultimately, you have to make tshuva. And you don't say, listen, I grew up in a bad community, in a bad environment, so listen, it's not my fault, let them make tshuva for me. You have to make tshuva. No? And tshuva is not only for Elul. There is a reason for that. Many reasons for that. Also, Kabbalistically, I hate to use the word energies, but there's a certain attribute in the air that comes out along with that. Well, this is not the scope of what we're trying to do today. But we need to understand, what is it that helps me or makes me derail my path of wanting to do good? Well, everybody wants to appease somebody. Everybody wants to get a compliment. Everybody wants to say, hey, listen, you're doing great. What happens that you all of a sudden, let's say for example, you guys went to school all your life, right? And elementary school, I'm talking about, and high school. You remember the days you got up, it was just a regular day. Just a regular day. And all of a sudden, in terms of the catastrophe, something went into your head and you're becoming the teacher's terror. And that could be like a turning point into the rest of your career in school on that particular day. You do something and then it's horrific, and the teacher kind of puts an X on you to the rest of the year, and there's nothing you could do. There will be nothing you could do to fix that. I said, what? And you wonder at yourself, and you can't stop this, and it goes on, and it becomes bigger and bigger, and you seem to be completely out of control. What the heck had happened to me? Why am I doing this? And you can't stop. And so there are many reasons for that. But the Zohar says, one of the reasons for Yetzer Hara is simcha, to be in joy. What? No. The Zohar says simchat yain vekalut rosh. Simchat yain vekalut rosh. That's when the Yetzer Hara comes, especially for us. We drink. There are, if you are a true kosher establishment, you should not be serving wine and playing music at the same time in a restaurant. So any Vad Kashrut should pay attention to that. In their establishment that they give kashrut to, are they serving wine and alcohol and playing music? That's how Kalut Rosh comes. You become lightheaded, and then you become a little bit off-centered. We need to have a low center of gravity. If you know anything about cars or anything about martial arts, a person that will be very hard to topple or a car to flip is a car that has a very low center of gravity. If you have a top-heavy car or a top-heavy person that is all up here, very easy to flip them over. So that's what happens to us many times. We become too top-heavy, lightheaded. We don't sink a little bit. But what is the reason that I need this? And that's why people do drugs. And that's why people get drunk. Why do I need that elevation? Why? The answer is very simple, and that's what the Zohar says. You lose track, first of all. The Zohar says that you lose track of the end. And we all know that the end is near. Or the end is there. Even if it's far, it's there. There is an end. We know that. And we forget. And therefore we don't align ourselves towards that. But there's there's another reason that it's much deeper and rooted. And what I'm trying to do to you, trying to kind of unfold it and really try to touch the core of the problem of Yetzer Hara. And the deepest reason why a person is involved in doing averot and getting off the derech and doing all these things is very simple. He does not have simchat chaim. He doesn't have a joy of life. If you don't have a joy of life, I'm not saying joy in life on going on cruises and going to Mexico and playing cards and getting drunk and barfing. That's not the joy of life, or clubbing or doing raving and kind of stuff like that. We're not talking about that. I'm talking about the joy of life, of being happy, of living fulfilled life. One of the definitions of success is to have a fulfilled mission or a mission or a fulfillment in what you do. Not only a person who set goals and achieved these goals. If you look in a dictionary, if I'm not mistaken, one of the definitions of success is to a person that achieved these goals. Whatever those goals would be. My goals. not your goals. I need to set goals for myself and to achieve them. Then I'm a successful person. So when you don't achieve goals, because you don't define yourself any goals of life, you feel your life is purposeless. There's no meaning in your life. There's no mission in your life. And therefore you feel your life is useless. And it's pointless. And you sit down and you're saying, what is this? This is what it's all about. I need to feel that I'm alive. I would not know if I'm alive or dead. So I'm going to do something. But when you decided to do that, things are out of your control. And a student that comes to a class and he all of a sudden acts up, the teacher needs to understand, the educator needs to understand that it is not a personal attack on him or her. Most of the time, it's a call for help. It's a cry for help. Though probably this kid feels very frustrated about himself, never got any recognition, and if it did, most likely it was negative. So he's following his own path, his own behavior. If you are a person that always thinks that everything is done to him, do not become an educator, please. Am I right? You're in intervention, right? A kid, grows up, probably gets a lot of negative attitude, and that's what he knows. So he comes and he wants that. There's nothing against you, and the kid he knows he's out of control. And there's nothing you can do about it. And we're not talking about a case where the person has, he's on some kind of like a diagnosis, he's oppositional defiance disorder, or some kind of like, on the spectrum, we're not talking about that. We're talking about a regular kid that all of a sudden becomes a troublemaker. And his label is a troublemaker, and those people on top, because they don't have a vision to themselves as educators. They're there to collect a paycheck, for crying out loud. They don't see their job as a mission. So for them it's a disturbance because they just want to hand over the curriculum and go to the prep. That's what it's all about. But if you have a mission, you understand, okay, that's a challenge. Let me overcome it. I'm here for a reason. And maybe I'm here only for this kid, to help him or help her. You need to understand that. So those people who are, for example, in schools are very unfulfilled people because they don't do it for a mission, and therefore they become very negative. And that negativity, because there's no joy of life, is the root of all evil. And the same thing will be for doctors. We're not there for a mission to help a person. I mean, I can give you my kid's pediatrician is an example of the opposite. Is an example of a person who has a mission and he knows what he's doing and he likes what he's doing, and you have no idea how much slack he cuts to people. And he helps people. He is there for a mission. And if you he encourages people to go, you can tell right away if a person is really, no offense, if a person is really into what he's doing or not. He, for example, that particular doctor, encourages people to go to medical school. He encourages people to go to medical school. Both of my daughters work by him. One, he's still saying, she should have gone to medical school, she should have gone to medical school, and so on and so forth. When my other daughter, he heard that she wants to go to medical school, that's it. She's going to medical. He calls her, doctor, come here, Dr. Clara. What do you think here? And he interacts with her and stuff. So the person really likes what he's doing because he encourages other people to do so. If you have a teacher that doesn't encourage people to go to education, most likely he doesn't like it. Or you have a rabbi that tells the students, don't become a rabbi. Probably he should not have become a rabbi to begin with, and so on and so forth. Or a parent that tells his kids, don't have too many kids. You can't afford it. Or for whatever reason. You don't have the joy of life. That's when the negativity starts to sprout. That's the breeding ground of the bad elements inside of you. And it could be a trauma. It could be a little trauma that you had. Let's say you had a little trauma, or you have a little argument. Let's say you had a little cyst in your brain. Yeah, it happens, right, doctor? Cyst. Sometimes you could create a little bit of dead cells around it, right? In the white matter. And that area will be affected. Will be dead. But it doesn't just stop there. It could grow and grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. And then all of a sudden half of your brain is dead. Am I right? You need to keep things alive all the time. Because once it's dead, let's say for example, let's say you have a tomato. Right? Tomato. Everybody likes tomatoes. I love tomatoes. Grow tomatoes in my garden. You ate one, right? How was it? Do you need any salt or anything? Perfect. Right off the vine. I gave him also pepper. How was the pepper? Delicious. So you have a tomato. You had a little blemish in one spot of it. What happens to the tomato after a while? Majority of it is good. One little needle prick is bad. What happens? It spreads. Yes, Rabotai, it spreads. And then the whole thing becomes rotten. And it's it. It's bad. Throw it away. You eat it, you'll die. The same thing to us. The same thing in the body. You don't have to become an Einstein to figure those things out. So if you have a trauma, a spiritual trauma, you have all the tools. You know what to do. If you have a little trauma here in your head, you fix it. You don't let it live it like that. Become infected. So you need to fix it right away. To isolate the intruder, to apply antibiotics to it, treatments, maybe sometimes you need to cut through it, throw it out, because otherwise it's going to eat all the good, and then you become a very negative person. And it becomes impossible for you to do tshuva. Because to do tshuva is what does it mean to make tshuva? Being engaged in the process of tshuva is understanding that there is an option for good. Repentance, I can fix it. I did bad and I can fix it. There is an option of good. There is always an option of good. Always. Always. If you don't understand that, you are in a state of degeneration, internal degeneration. So that's the process of tshuva. Now you understand why certain people are not able to make tshuva. Because they're so negative. They're not a positive, happy life person. I'm not saying be gay, like, jolly, all day long doing the Irish jig. I'm not talking about that. Simchat Chaim. I'm happy I'm alive. Darn it, it's a good day outside. Yes, it might be 90% humidity, 98 degrees, but you know what? It is a good day. You know why? Because I'm alive. I'm alive. I can walk. I can stand. Excuse me, I can pee without a catheter. It's good. Right or wrong? Understanding that. Forget about the bad. Stop being negative. Always know they will do this to me and they will do that. Okay, so they'll do this to you. I don't know. So they'll fire you from your job. Okay, so go find something else. Go find something else. Are you working for your title or are you working for work? You're working for work so you can provide yourself with the bare necessities. I mean bare necessities. You know the song? Forget about your worries and your... Huh? Yeah. I mean bare necessities. Right? That's exactly it. Forget about your worries. It doesn't get you anywhere. It eats you up. We develop anxieties, and understood. I have anxiety sometimes. We're all fearful. But you have to understand it. Okay, so you flush it down, you go on. We can do it. Okay, what's the worst that can happen? The worst that can happen that I'll continue in this path. That's the worst that can happen. And I'll become a very negative person. I can become completely immobile and completely debilitated. I won't be able to do a thing. That's the worst that can happen. Even dying is better than this state. So you lost your house. Or you're about to lose your house. So sell your house. Move somewhere. Go where it's cheap. Go where it's cheap. Go upstate New York. You buy cheap houses there. Crying out loud, you can buy yourself like 20 acres for $200,000 with a house on top. Okay, so you're not going to have the convenience here of going to Seasons and going to this or buying. So you make do. So become a vegan. So worst that can happen. The worst that can happen is to stay in this state, because it's going to eat you from inside. So before you are engaged in the process of tshuva, chatanu, avinu, pashanu, tafsiku, this, enough with this. It's nonsense what you're doing. Because you don't understand what brought you to this state. Oh yeah, I do know, Yetzer Hara. Yeah, and what's the Yetzer Hara? What's the Yetzer Hara? Where is it? It comes from space? Is it an alien? Call Donald Trump for that if it's an alien. What do you want from me? This is not what it is all about. It's all about the way you think. And ultimately it's the way you think. And as a result of that, the way you behave. And as a result of that, we get what we get here. So if you want to fix that, you have to understand how you got here. And how you got here is usually because you don't have simchat chaim. You're not a happy person to begin with. You're not a positive person to begin with. You are involved in negative and negativity, which pours down to you from every corner. The news, the media, everywhere. And it's simply to control you, to show you that there's no hope anymore. And they are the ones who can offer you hope. But Rabotai, there is a hope. Hayad Hashem tiktzar. If you put your head, if you put yourself in the hands of Hashem, Hashem is Chas v'Shalom unable to do things. Every single moment that we live is a miracle. We see miracles upon miracles, but the eyes are blind from seeing it. Or maybe the eyes see it, and the heart is blind from acknowledging that. And why? Because there is no simcha b'chaim. So stay away from fake joy. A joy that you pay, that you buy. As I told you this, I'm going to be telling you this a lot of time, Belineda. If you want to invest, do not invest in items. Invest in experiences. If you want to buy something, don't buy an object, buy an experience. And that will help you become a more positive person. So have a great day.